I'm JoltKing627, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Big Power Electric Model 531. Let's get right into it. Before we get into the video, full disclosure, Big Power Electric did send this to me free of charge for purposes of review, and I would like to thank them for that. Now, let's take a look at what you get in the package. Inside, we find the blaster, stock attachment, barrel attachment, scope attachment, 2 magazines, iPro, batteries, darts, 3 targets, the instructions, and a pamphlet showing their other releases. Starting off with the accessories, they include some rudimentary eye protection. They're tinted red and they distort your vision quite a bit, but it's still nice that they included them. They also include 3 of these targets that you can knock over. They even have notches on the side that let you connect them together to make a larger target. They also include 100 of their standard darts. These are hard-tipped darts, so while the foam is nice quality, the head is solid rubber and has no compression to it at all. These are not safe to use. Thankfully, there are tons of safer, better darts on the market that you can use instead. They include 2 magazines labeled as being able to hold 10 rounds, but they actually hold 12, and as you can see, they are the same exact length as the 12 rounders that were included with the Big 508. However, the mags included with this one have properly designed feed lips that allow the dart to sit at the proper height, unlike the ones included with the 508. And now, of course, for the blaster itself. Now, probably the first thing you're going to notice about it is that's an interesting silhouette. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, honestly. All jokes aside, the second thing you'll probably notice about it is this thing is huge. It's actually so long that it wouldn't even fit in my normal recording area. Fully put together, it's 38.5 inches long. That's actually about the same length as a fully assembled long shot. So this thing is adult size and then some. Now in function, the blaster is a semi-automatic magazine-fed flywheel blaster. Up top, it's got an N-Strike compatible rail with an included scope attachment. The actual reverse rail on the scope is a lot longer toward the front than most N-Strike attachments. This is why the rail on top of the blaster actually has 2 locking notches. So if you choose to use a Nerf brand scope, it'll still be centered on the rail. The included scope is of course still compatible with all of your standard N-Strike rails, and it has some cool looking reticles in the middle. Up top here we have a gigantic jam door, which is unfortunately blocked by the scope, so you're gonna have to take that off to clear any jams. It's actually deceptively large. The actual hole that you can get to the magazine through is very small. Thankfully, I haven't had any jams that would require me to open a jam door, so it's not really been an issue. Over here is the battery tray. It takes 6 AA batteries. Of note, the battery door screw appears to be screwing directly into the plastic of the shell, so I'd be worried about stripping out that hole. Back here, we have our stock attachment, and underneath there is our stock attachment point. Interestingly enough, unlike the 508 which we reviewed, this is in fact an N-Strike compatible stock point. However, unfortunately, the included stock is not N-Strike compatible. They messed up the height, so it hits the grip of anything you try and put it on. Moving on, the barrel is fortunately also an attachment. The barrel is actually an N-Strike compatible barrel attachment. The inner barrel material, like a long strike barrel, is wider than normal, which is good because this barrel is actually 16 inches long. Now, most interestingly, the lug on the actual blaster is not an N-Strike lug, but it's still compatible. Sort of. The direction of the cutouts is actually reversed versus a normal N-Strike lug, meaning the barrel twists on the opposite direction. Also, unlike the N-Strike lug, the cutouts are the same size on the Big Power Electric lug. So you can actually put on your barrel attachment upside down. I'll let you decide whether that's a bug or a feature. Now the lug is compatible with N-Strike barrels. Almost. It gets very close and it even locks in, but if you actually look, it hasn't quite twisted all the way. It's not lined up. I don't know why it does that. I guess the tolerances are just slightly off. However, this issue does not appear to happen with the included barrel. Like the other Big Power Electric products, both the ergonomics and the plastic quality on this blaster are excellent. There's very little to no flex or creak in the entire blaster, which for something of this length is pretty impressive. The main grip is very comfortable, and the rev trigger is a normal size, unlike the one on the 508, and the foregrip is also extremely comfortable. However, it's pretty far out on the blaster. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", and I cannot comfortably shoulder this blaster and reach the foregrip. I tend to hold it more about here. If you're taller than me or just have longer arms, that probably won't be an issue. Now the mag well is interesting. The magazine release is here in the trigger guard and it works pretty well. It fits the included magazines just fine. It's compatible with N-Strike magazines. They go in just fine and they feed just fine. However, there's one big issue, and that has to do with this cutout right here. As you can see, the outer sides of the feed lips on the included mags are flattened compared to an N-Strike mag where they are rounded out. This unfortunately means that while insertion of an N-Strike mag is just fine, when you go to remove it, the mag lips will actually hit this wall right here, making a horrible scraping noise. The trigger pull is very smooth, or at least it was after I fixed the cage entrance issue. Because the entrance to the flywheel cage isn't flared at all, I had some issues of dart heads hitting the bottom ledge and getting a little bit stuck, but they would eventually go in. It would just cause a lot of friction on the trigger pull. Thankfully, the issue was not as severe on this one as it was on the Model 508, so it was still able to function properly. I'll show you how to fix it completely in the internal section of the video. The other issue I had was the pusher doesn't want to push completely straight. It's the same issue that I had with the Model 505. However, on this blaster that causes another issue, which is darts hitting the side of the obscenely long faux barrel. When a dart hits the side of the barrel, it'll usually just fart out the end at very, very, very low velocity, or even fail to exit the barrel entirely. Now, I was able to mostly fix this issue, and I'll show you how I did it in the internal section of the video, but still, every so often, a dart will fail to leave the end of the barrel. As far as performance goes, this blaster gets about high 40s, low 50s with the barrel installed. With the barrel removed, however, I was able to get high 50s to low 60s, which is usable but still kinda low. Honestly, just like with the big 508, I would expect a little more out of 6 AA batteries. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the internals and how to fix some of the issues I had with the blaster. Alright, we can go ahead and crack this boy open. All of the screws, yet again, are the same size. Okay, so what we got here is basically another Strifoid. We've got a mechanical semi-automatic pusher with a lever here, with an extension spring both on the trigger return and on the pusher return. We have a rev switch down here and under this plate. We have the lock that stops you from pulling the trigger without pulling the rev trigger, which you can remove very easily. Here we have the 3 pieces of the mag release. We have the actual button itself, we have a lever here, and the actual mag catch right here. I think it'd be pretty easy to make an extension coming off of here with some cuts to give it a longer mag release. Up here at the front we have the flywheel cage, which has foam pads on both sides to help deaden the sound. Inside we find the standard big power electric wheels, which are very, very light. They are concave in the center and ribbed on the outside. The concavity is so that the hard tip darts that are included with the blaster don't shatter the flywheels. Okay, now comes the part where we're going to fix the issues that we have with the blaster. Number 1 is going to be the entrance to the flywheel cage. The issue is that darts would actually hit this ledge right here, so we have actually taken a deburring tool or a knife and we can just carve that down like so until it works just fine. Now the second issue, the issue with the pusher bending all over the place, is a little bit more difficult to fix. It's going to require some extra pieces. I have gone ahead and actually made some shims for the pusher itself out of plastic card and locks. This is the cut down lock from a Knockout with some plastic card on it, and this is a sheet of plastic card that I have cut out myself. The thickness of this plastic card is about 1.5 millimeters, and these 2 pieces put together have a height of about 8.5 millimeters. So this piece is going to go inside this cavity right here, so we're going to add some hot glue in here. And now with that piece in, we're just going to add a little bit of lubricant. And this other piece is actually going to go on this side of the shell right here. And once again, we're just going to go ahead and lube that up. Now the final issue we were having was that issue with these walls right here of the mag well hitting the mag lips on Nerf brand magazine. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to file these down. And hopefully that should take care of those issues. Now we can go ahead and reassemble the blaster. You need to be careful because these wires will like to get caught in and amongst all of these screw posts. And that should do it. Now we can put all the screws back in. Alright, now let's go see it fire. Alright, first up we've got some of the included hard tip darts. And again. And now for some waffle head darts. And now some AccuFakes. Alright, final thoughts. What do I think of this blaster? Honestly, I'm kinda mixed on it. On the one hand, the trigger pull is very smooth and it feels great in hand, very ergonomically friendly and solid feeling. But on the other hand, performance is low, it had a lot of small issues, and the silhouette's mildly concerning. However, I think with a little bit of modding, you could make it into something pretty cool. Currently on Amazon, these retail for about 46 United States dollars, which is a bit high, but they do give you a lot of stuff, including batteries, which is really, really nice. I'd say if you like what you see and you're willing to put some effort into it, it might be worth picking up, especially if it goes on sale. The blaster definitely has potential. Maybe some other time I'll see if I can shove a Strife cage in there, give it a nice performance boost. If you want to buy one of these, I'll have a link in the description box below. That being said, remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out the merch, and thank you all for watching.